Well, so cyberfeminism, really brought um, feminism into the online environment, and so thinking about connections and communities, but also critiquing of the patriarchy and so a lot of the work that I do is has a physical component and a virtual component. And I like that on the ground, and and no matter what, if it's a physical or a virtual environment, there's still connections with oneself and one's body and one's environment and so on. So so you could almost say a lot of my work is what like a mixed reality or virtual and physical or material reality, I guess. What the process is definitely my favorite of, so thinking about that rather than a particular project, because I get excited about conceptualizing something new and trying something new, and I really let it emerge a lot with the issues that are happening at the time, the students and their interest, and 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 sometimes just the opportunities and the resources, like Richard Cabito coming. So when he came, we went to Lake Erie and he experienced that. I had experienced Lake Victoria, and then he was able to come to my class for a whole month. He stayed at my home and was, so it wasn't just a drop-in artist and drop out again, so really some really engagement with the students. So, that was just wonderful that, we could have this sort of both long-term in terms of what, 10, 15 years, something of doing something together. And for him and I, we meet prior, and we start to percolate ideas. So that part is a favorite part too. And coming up with something new. We never do anything the same. And so that very creative aspect, and then trying it out, and then we reflect, and then we do it, and then we reflect on it afterwards, and think about, what worked really well, and what do we want to do, what's happening in the world. And we just keep improving, and from our reflections and such. And we also have written about this in several different articles, and also have presented at conferences together as well. So that's a pleasure. So that part, is just really a favorite. It's just also I think it's the response, like the students in any of those projects that has students, or even like your class, for the momentary short time that I connected to your class, kind of to see them when they saw their bed, their relationship to a bed, and if a bed could talk, what would it say? Their text overlaid on the chalk drawings that were then placed in the Palmer Museum. So just kind of a great pleasure and fulfillment is making things. I call it setting things in motion. I set things in motion, and then seeing the response of everybody, and particularly students. I'm really very fulfilling.
Well, we were the ones in class that created our statements about our relationships with the bed, and then the drawings on the board as well during the discussion. So to see it on augmented reality and in the room wherever we wanted to put it. So that was another way we interacted with it. We decided where in the room we wanted to see it. So it was kind of like putting our own artwork on the actual wall of a museum. So the interaction is more so we created the content of the words and the drawings, and then also decided where we wanted to see it in the museum. And I think it's also helps that the only people who have access to it are, well, us, which helps, I think, with people who may be more anxious about revealing something so vulnerable and personal. And so within our class, and I think the other class that participated, we all kind of had shared our vulnerable ideas about our relationship with our bed, which is one of the most personal spaces. And then, so in that sense, we kind of, even if it was just for a day, were a community brought together by this artwork that we all participated in. Artwork was more interactive in that way. Like, not only were we seeing artworks that people had put up with the actual paintings and photographs, but we saw our own words and the drawings that we made in an actual museum, and it felt I feel people engage more when they feel like they're contributing something meaningful. And so to have that and actually visually see it in the museum, even if it's temporary because it's through augmented reality, it still enhances the experience. And it honestly made me more interested in art overall because I felt like I was a part of something. And I do better personally with visuals and hands-on learning. So having that made the experience better for me. And I'm sure it did for other visual learners and hands-on learners.
But so yeah, so that's just many things over the years, and developing this community, really seeing a lot, and it's even more erased now. In fact, right now, we're really going backwards in that. Not only this ridiculous, there will only be two genders, men and women, but actually there's been scrubbing of the word women of federal documents and such. And so we're going back to a time where it'll be men and he, and it's supposed to mean everybody. And I mean, so, we went through that a long time ago, decades ago. And I'm really quite comfortable either saying they or men and women and all genders, I mean, first it was just at least adding women and then all genders, so now women have pretty much been written out of history, let alone genders on a continuum or spectrum, or fluid genders, transgenders, and so it's really disheartening that we've turned back in time to like as if we're all men. So, as to say it bluntly, and so this is so important because of the erasure. Erasure has always happened, but has escalated at a very fast pace in the last 6 or so weeks here, and so that is devastating. It will return, and it probably will return in a big way, because people are so distraught about the disappearance of references to anybody other than white men, and so including history, culture, as well as just documents that we look to for health and economics and education and stuff. And when that's getting wiped out, that there will it cannot last. It's just people are too educated and too caring about each other to let that happen.